happy February. We hope you've got your cups filled with some tea because our cup of tea is ready to speak all things women's soccer with you. And we're super excited because we have our first guest of 2022. My name's Megan Warner and I'm joined by my co-hosts Katie Goodman and Harlie Ford. How are you both doing today?
Great. I did the unthinkable and I put coffee in my cup this morning instead of tea. I know.
Katie, you're not alone on that one. I was trying to keep it secret, but I also got myself a breakfast brew today.
I'm gonna prove I have the tea.
Megan's the only one representing with the tea.
Dang, she's the OG.
I would be fine otherwise, but unfortunately I'm ashamed by my actions. But this is very good coffee, so what can I say?
Right. The coffee was quicker for me this morning. It would have been a whole process to make the tea the way I wanted it.
It took me a minute to toss some creamer in there. It's also so freezing. I'm currently in Western New York, hanging out with friends and family. So, I
Wait a second. Is that snow in the background?
Yes, ma'am. That is some snow.
Is it like a winter wonderland?
It is an absolute winter wonderland out there. It was snowing for like the moment I got here on Tuesday until about this morning, I think it was snowing. So it is tremendous. If we don't mind some some handiwork here on the camera, I can get some close-ups on what we got going on out there.
Yes, close-ups up. Oh, wow. Yeah, the trees are huge.
No, it's a good time. Yeah. For my Florida body, this is something that is choice. Super great.
Yeah.
So why don't we kick off the show with the latest and greatest in WOSO. Some pretty big news has been coming out of women's soccer this week.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's me. So some of the coolest news that's brought out this week in WOSO is that Trinity Rodman, as we know, is the youngest player to sign into the NWSL. She just signed a record $1.1 million contract for the Washington Spirit. So she was drafted into the league at 18. And Sophia Smith, she was drafted in 2020 when she was 19. So yeah, Rodman's breaking records left and right. And also, during her time with the Washington Spirit in her first season, she was leading the league in assists and also was named the U.S. Young Female Player of the Year for 2021. So this, among, I'm sure, her other qualities as both an athlete and a person, heavily contributed to her signing a deal that is 6 times what she was initially signed on for with the Washington Spirit, which is insane. That is a record-breaking beyond belief. I never imagined that I would be able to see a female soccer player being paid $1 million to play in the U.S. That's amazing.
Right.
So, and it's not anywhere close to what top players in the MLS are getting, but $1 million is a pretty good start, I think, to get on the path to breaking that salary capped ceiling. So,
right. It's a literal game changer. And, I think about, if she's the highest salary, who's below her? Is it anywhere near? What is Megan Rapinoe making? She's the one whose face is all over everything. So it makes me wonder, what is she making? And is it even close? And then another thing that came up, actually, I had posted this on my Instagram and somebody commented, oh, it's because her dad is Dennis Rodman. And I was like, excuse me, sir? Just because your dad is famous doesn't mean you're a baller at soccer. And there's even articles that talk about how he wasn't even a part of her life for a really long time, and he just barely recently came to one of her games. So when you think of stuff like that, it's just so dumb how guys will just start to taint things. It's just let us have our moment, let us shine, let her, this is such a huge moment for women's soccer. Let it be what it is. So a lot of people think, oh, she got that deal because her dad has good agents and da-da-da. But you know what? Whoever's agent it is, thank you. Doesn't matter. Thank you for paving the way for women's sports for once, Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see a lot more players kind of getting offers around that sort of figure and setting the level for, if this is what players can earn in the United States, well, how about back in England? How about in Australia? What kind of are the other leagues going to do in order to draw the players to there as well? I mean, it's not just about money, but at this point, the difference between the men's league and the female league, and in order to grow the game, it's such a huge step for the game.
Right. And I mean, that's something that we've always talked about on this show is that, if you are a professional, you should not have to do at least 4 other things in your life to make that one thing work, right? If you're a professional athlete, you should be able to dedicate your time and your energy into that. You shouldn't have to be working behind the scenes, making extra part-time money on the side, doing like sponsorships and promos for the league or for the team. Like, you should just be able to be an athlete, and like that's what you commit yourself to. So this is a really great step, I think, to letting players just be players.
Right. And
we'll see the league and the level really, really excel. Like, it's just going to soar if these players can really spend 24/7 dedicating their time, their craft, you know, just getting that extra sleep, getting that extra time for their bodies to recover.
Right.
Is huge.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, to top it off, on top of this huge thing that Washington Spirit has done, the NWSL and the Players Association has made history this season as the two sides have reached their first ever collective bargaining agreement, which extends all the way until 2026. So what does that mean? So some of the more notable changes are 160% increase in minimum salaries. That's huge. And that means the minimum salary now sits at $35,000. Like, what? Before that, I think people were getting paid. Some of them were being paid nothing. Some were being paid like $15,000. You can't live off of that. And then you'll also see a 4% year-over-year increase and free agency within the league, which is just so huge. But what's crazy, it doesn't even stop there. The agreement includes free housing, transportation, fully vested 401k contributions, health, life and disability insurance, 8 weeks of parental leave, and up to 6 months of mental health leave. And so that's huge. I mean, that talk about a complete change in quality life, but I can't help, it begs the question, can the league uphold that? Can the league financially sustain that? All of these, you know, amazing things that they're requiring, because what's going to happen is that each owner has to put in an additional $100 million increment. So on top of what they were already doing, they need another $100 million to invest in their team just to meet the minimum requirements. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's something that they can uphold? I don't know.
I'd like to think so. I mean, you know, some of the benefits that we're kind of talking about, like, are what you would see on, like, the benefits on a resume, like, on a job application of, like, what a standard typical company will offer its employees. So when you kind of look at it from that perspective, I would like to think that the league would be able to uphold and deliver for a long period of time, and for that to just continue to progress rather than regress.
Right. And also, part of that, I think, is like the idea that in any other scenario, if you're asking to give proper benefits to your athletes, that it could shatter your organization, like, would that suggest that maybe it was unstable and unhealthy in the first place? Like,
right. Which I believe, though, you know, think about how many times the Women's Professional League has folded. You know, back in my day, it folded, and then it came back, and it had a different acronym, you know, and so I don't know. That's what I worry about. And I'm not by any way saying we should not be celebrating this. We absolutely should. It's paving the way. Even if it does struggle and fold, I think, you know, I'm not saying it's going to fold, but even if teams begin to drop off, when new teams emerge, they'll be emerging at a higher standard.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like, this should be the foundation for future teams going forward. This should be the expectation. And it's what we've been talking about ever since everything started breaking with the abuse scandals that have been reaching far and wide throughout the NWSL. They need to protect their players. They need to uplift their players. And this should, in theory, encourage athletes who are coming up in the game right now to look at this league as something that they want to be a part of. They're going to be safe. They're going to be secure. It's going to be something that they can feel valued in and have value, actual monetary value.
And yeah, it's a viable career option. There's not that I'm coming out of college, I've got some debt going, and I can't physically choose to follow my dream and pursue the game. I have to get a regular job. Hopefully, that will become eliminated, which it's an exciting thought because there's so much talent that's just flying under the radar.
Right, right.
And speaking of talent and watching WOSO, there is another tournament that we'd like to talk about. I know last week we provided you with some different options of how you can watch women's soccer throughout the month of February. And the Arnold Clark Cup is also taking place at the same time as the She Believes Cup. This is the inaugural Arnold Clark Cup, and it's taking place in England with 4 of the top 10 teams in the world right now competing. So you've got the likes of Canada, Spain, and Germany. So it's going to be super, super exciting. There's a lot of hype around this tournament. It's its first year, so it really needs that boost of people getting involved in social media and stuff. So they have partnered with Goal, who had a partnership with AFC Women's Asian Cup to kind of promote that on social media. So there's going to be loads of content out there. They did a really great job during that Asian Cup. I know, Harlie, you've been following it along quite well.
I'm a fan.
So it's going to be really awesome because, you know, when there's multiple countries playing, there's so many people who want access to the game. They want access to pre-game stuff, post-game stuff. How are the athletes handling playing a 6-game tournament? All that kind of stuff. So it's super exciting. And there's also really great access to the games. The host broadcaster is going to be ITV, and they'll be broadcasting all of the games in England, but the games will also be broadcasted with loads of different TV networks across the country, across the world, and ESPN will have the games for Central and South America. So definitely be tuning into those. The tournament starts February 17th, and I am very excited to see how England do.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question was, you know, how we are with media and giving women coverage, and especially ESPN. That's a tough one to make it on for women's sports. And,
that's for sure.
You know, and I wonder, you know, if the US and England are playing at the same time. Those are both big markets for us here in the US. And so my hope is, what I'm trying to get at is that they don't, you know, double book us on anything. You know, I would like to be able to see both a US game and the England Cup. So excuse me.
With the time zones. So because of the different time zones, it should just mean total soccer coverage, which is
good.
Yeah, that's pretty choice. That's like one of my favorite things is like a soccer Saturday where you can just go on and you can find pretty much a game from morning to night. It's pretty fun. My favorite.
Yeah, right. Soccer all day long, all day, every day. All right, so now the guest we have all been waiting for, Helene Farris from the San Antonio Athenians. Let's bring her on. Helene, what is up? How's it going?
Good. How are y'all?
Good.
Doing all right? Having a good day?
Yeah. So, Helene, you just re-signed with the San Antonio Athenians. How do you feel about that, and how do you feel about the upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, I loved playing with them over the summer. It was kind of something I just jumped into because I was playing club soccer at the time. So I just kind of jumped into them right before I went to college. And I loved my summer experience with them. I made some of my best friends, even Katie. You know, we're still super close.
Yes.
I love the team, love the coaches. So I'm super excited about signing again this summer.
Great.
I'm sure. I mean, you guys were an absolute joy to watch. I know goal of the week was my special thing on the kickoff show. And while we didn't always have an Athenians goal, I was watching them and they were extremely well worked. You know, it wasn't always necessarily one person's amazing finish, but they were always really well worked team goals. So a joy to watch the Athenians play. And what I want to know is, what was your most memorable moment for the San Antonio Athenians last year?
I would say when we were I think we were in Austin maybe for the final from our division. I think winning that game was honestly just so fun. It was super competitive, and I think we had lost against them in the regular season. So it was amazing to just get that win and just celebrate with the girls, because we were staying there and just celebrating with them, staying overnight there in hotels with them, and it was just great. Honestly, that I would say that experience for sure.
That was the game against Lone Star, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we had we had lost like 6-0 to them in the season. And so to come back and win in the final was the ultimate like hallelujah.
Yeah, this is a rival that like has kind of developed between you guys, the two sides, and I'm really, really hyped to see this season, like how you guys play, how you guys go at each other.
Yeah, and you'll have a new. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and you'll have a new coach this season, right?
Yes, we'll have a new coach. I've met him. He's super nice.
Very
so
cool.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, so you're looking forward to what you guys are going to do this summer?
Oh, 100%. I think it'll be a great summer.
Yeah, I think we'll all be looking forward to it. On top of that, you were also just playing with the University of Texas at San Antonio. That's quite the acronym, big line there.
Right.
And so how did they do this season, and how was it playing for them? Because you're a sophomore now, correct?
So I'm actually a freshman, and
really?
This year I redshirted. So I graduated high school a year early. So I came in, I redshirted this semester. But honestly, we did great. We made history. We placed second in our division, and we went to the tournament in Florida, and we lost second round there. But honestly, it was the best the UTSA has ever done. So everyone was super hyped about that. But it was a great season, definitely adjusting to college soccer and everything, and just school and everything. But it was a great season. We had a great season.
Yeah, it can be quite the adjustment. Can I ask what the red shirt was for? Were you on injury list or?
No, it was just because I came in pretty young, so I decided to kind of just take the year. So I still have 4 years of eligibility.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah, so I just came in just to be like kind of a trained player, if you will, like a practice player. So it kind of was a little bit difficult for me because I'm so used to playing. I love playing, but at the same time, it was good. It was nice to just come in and get adjusted, get acclimated to everything, and
right.
Yeah, so that's why.
That's
I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Casey. Sorry.
No, you go.
I was gonna say it's really interesting. I feel like we haven't actually had somebody come on the show and talk about the kind of experience of redshirting for a year, not necessarily for an injury reason, but more a personal choice for your own benefit in the future. And I guess my question for that is, so how much value do you place on the summer team to give you that kind of competitive season?
With the summer team or with UTSA?
So with the summer team, do you feel like it's really crucial that you re-signed with the Athenians to get a competitive season of soccer under your belt while you didn't get to play the college season?
Right. And yeah, I was even talking with my head coach here at UTSA, like, I want to make sure I'm at a summer program that's super competitive to get me ready for the fall season. And I feel like the Athenians does just that. So that was
because
important.
You're surrounded by players who have experience from, even your experience level up to girls who have been in the game since they were 12 years old and now they're 30 and they're still playing, so that's really great to be surrounded by players from all kinds of walks of life and all kinds of different experience levels of soccer. One cool thing that I love being on the field is we went up against a team and they used to have a former World Cup player on the team. That's amazing. What kind of experience and talent you can learn from a player like that, even if they're, you're working against them. So that's really great that you have that opportunity. It should make you pretty excited to come back and slam some home runs going out on the field when you come back and you're like, listen, I played against some World Cup players out there. I know what I'm doing.
Right. And that's why I love the Athenians so much, is because you have girls from all over. You have girls that are looking to play professional, girls that are still in college, maybe some girls that aren't in college yet, but it's just, it's a great environment, honestly.
Yeah. And there's something to be said about, getting time on the field during a game. There's things that happen in a game that you can't replicate in practice. And so that's why it's so important that, in between your college seasons, especially if you weren't getting the time, that you do get the time in your summer season. And last season, Helene, you had a lot of time. So I'm hoping that they put you right back there in the center of the field again and make things happen. And You know, when you had told me that you were redshirted, I was so shocked because I thought you were such a staple player for the Athenians. How in the hell are they going to redshirt you right now? But really and truly, like, if they're willing to invest in you in that way, think of it. They're putting a whole nother year of investment in you. That says something. That's money. You know, they don't have money just growing on trees, unfortunately, in college soccer. So I think that says a lot that they're willing to work on your development, keep you around a little bit longer. And I think, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of awesome things happening this summer with the Athenians, between you, some of the recruits we have coming in, and things like that. And yeah, I'm just excited to see where you're going to go from there. But, you know, let's bring it back a bit. I want to know a little bit more about how you were recruited to play at UTSA. And so talk a little bit about that whole recruiting journey.
Right. Okay. So I played club soccer for Classics Elite, and most of my recruiting was definitely through them. They did a great job of reaching out to coaches. I mean, for the most part, you know, the players have to reach out, email coaches. Hey, I'm going to be at this tournament. Are you going to be there? Or hey, here's the live stream, especially with COVID and everything. But
Yeah.
I committed when I was a freshman in high school, and so I had been committed for a while, but it was definitely mostly through Classics Elite, 100%. And I would say it was before the NCAA rule change. So when all that was going on with like, oh, you can't commit until you're a
Sophomore.
junior, or you can't talk to coaches until you're a
Yeah,
junior.
like the verbal commitment, the written, all that stuff. Yeah.
That was all like before the rule change. And I remember like talking to Derek Pittman and just kind of being like, okay, I want to commit here before the rule changes, before I can't talk to you. So I went ahead and committed.
Okay.
Super excited about all that. But it was definitely a struggle because, you know, after talking to him for so long, then I couldn't. You know, the rule changed and I had to wait a few years.
Yeah.
I was he would still come to my games and stuff. But it was definitely a change. That rule change definitely puts players a little bit behind, I think. I mean, it's definitely controversial because, you know, you see players decommitting all the time or committing to schools when they're so young and then leaving or going somewhere else or not even playing soccer, not even ending up playing soccer. So I think it definitely prevents some of that, but the communication is definitely hurt there until your junior year.
Yeah,
I
such a
gotcha.
crazy rule.
I've had my run-in with the whole like eligibility rules and all kinds of like commitment rules. It's really the way that some of it works. It feels very convoluted and it feels, you know, pretty backwards to make it preventative for athletes to be able to get in positions to, you know, go to the college they really want to go to. So yeah, from an eligibility standpoint, oh boy, like again, redshirting, that's such an interesting way to like extend your ability to be in college. But like my college journey, I was in a position where I had a big break between like my high school season and when I actually was able to start playing college. But in that time, I was playing summer seasons. And for someone who was not on a college team but was playing in these summer leagues, those were counting as like eligibility seasons for me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just trying to stay fit, trying to stay active in the game. I'm not getting paid for any of this stuff. I'm not getting sponsorship deals. And they still took like eligibility from me for when I finally got into like a college season. I was like, this is insane. This is wild.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
You definitely have to be careful. Like, and as far as like the whole redshirting thing coming in, it was definitely humbling because I think redshirting was the best option for me coming in a year early. You know, you have all these amazing, you don't realize how good they are until you get here, you know, and the college level is just so fast. And I think redshirting this semester was definitely a great thing for me to do. So
And was the choice to graduate early so you could go to college? Like that was based on soccer decision?
I wouldn't say it was primarily based on soccer. I mean, it just happened to all work out like that perfectly. But it was mostly just because I had enough credits from like high school and middle school, and I was just like, you know, why stay in high school another year if I don't have to? And some
yeah,
Amen
I don't
to that.
I don't miss high school.
High school sucked. Yeah.
So I mean, it just gave me the benefit of coming in and redshirting and being around all these girls and stuff, and so I think it worked out for the better.
Yeah, definitely. And so let's take it back even further. So before you kind of got to that recruiting stage for college, how did you even get involved in the game in the first place?
So soccer was not my first sport. When I was super young, I had so much energy, probably a little bit of ADHD. And my parents needed to get me involved in something. Like, I needed to work out. I couldn't even go to bed at night. Like, I was probably 7 years old running around the house. And so my parents got me involved in triathlons. And
Wow.
Wow,
goodness.
yeah.
and we invested a lot of time and money into that. I mean, we traveled all over the country, bought all these nice bikes, like carbon fiber, everything. Like, we did the thing. And I loved it. Honestly, it was amazing. But it was a lot. It was a lot for like that age, me doing that. It was just a lot for me. And so I played like NASO and all that stuff in San Antonio, but I just decided to let go of triathlons and kind of play like, some rec when I was younger, like probably like 8 or 9. But then after NASO, I transitioned to Lone Star, which is now like SA City. So I transitioned to that, and that was my first club team ever. Loved that. And then after a while, I just felt like I needed to keep growing as a player, and I felt like that wasn't there. So that's why I moved to Classics Elite. And I was there at Classics Elite for a long time, and that's when I got committed and all that. And then that's why I finally moved to the Athenians, because I was kind of like, well, I've loved club soccer, loved high school soccer, but, I just feel like I need something a little bit more challenging, a little bit something like more my age, a little bit, more difficult. So that's why I moved to the Athenians, and yeah, that's history.
Wow. I played for Classics Elite too. Played for them for many moons, and they've been around for a while, and they've pumped out some really good players. I would be interested in doing a deeper dive to just see where a lot of their college recruits or their college players have been recruited to over the years. Because I interview a lot of professional players, and a lot of these professional players, they come from these distinct clubs, and so I'm just really curious to see what San Antonio's putting out versus Austin versus Dallas versus Houston, all of that. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Man,
and I love hearing about clubs that are actually investing back into their players and giving them opportunities to grow and, extend their game past, once you're 18, like what do you do after that? Where are you
yeah.
going? So that's really great to hear that there's like organizations out there like that, because they're not always easy to find. Sometimes it's just, you pay your $1,000 or whatever to play for your club,
Right.
and then that's it. There's no recruiting efforts. There's no courses or conversations about like what recruitment looks like or what college looks like or any long-term goals for your soccer career. So it's really great that you had that ability to, have the guidance to get to where you wanted to be as a player.
Yeah, and I think it definitely goes both ways. Like, as a player, you have to take that responsibility. Okay, I need to make sure I'm talking to coaches too. Even if they can't respond back to me, I still have to email them. I still have to make calls or talk to my coaches about who I'm interested in. And I think my parents were a huge part of that process, because, they would always stay on top of me. And Helene, I know you got to do this, but make sure you're emailing your coaches a few weeks in advance. Their schedules fill up. So I think, clubs
That's
do a good job, but it definitely goes both ways for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
speaking of like your growth as a soccer player and like where you're going after level, like what are your long-term soccer goals? Like where do you want to go after, your time at college is done or your time with the Athenians is done?
Right. I mean, I think as far as like college soccer goes, and even the Athenians, I got a lot of work to do. I still have to keep improving as a player. I still have to keep doing all those things. So I think it's difficult to look at it now and kind of be like, okay, this is where I want to be, or this is where I want to go, because you just never know. I mean, even with college soccer, you never know where you're going to go, So I think it's just a matter of, I just have to keep growing as a player. I have to keep growing as a person. I have to keep growing as a student athlete. I mean, grades are the most important thing for me. So I think I don't know. I think that's just a question I'll have to answer for another time.
I think it's very wise, that take,
Yeah,
because
that
it's
was
kind
very
of like,
mature.
yeah, very mature and wise, and it's kind of like when you're, like, in playoffs or something, or you're in the middle of the season, it's like, "We're just going game by game right now," like, let's just one year after the next and keep moving forward, but I do have to say, Helene, you have serious potential, okay? Like, I could see you one day playing in the NWSL, you're so young, and so, definitely keep that in your heart, keep it in your sights, but I think you staying grounded, just in reality at the moment and knowing you've got to keep your nose down to the grindstone and make things happen. I think that's very wise on your part. But
Well, thank you.
yes, but bringing it back, we're going to make things lighten things up a bit. You recently did a modeling some modeling for a fitness brand. What was that about?
I did. One of my friends, her boyfriend, like works at this boxing studio, and they have their own little fitness brand, legging brand, all that. So they had just asked me to come out, so I went ahead and did it.
Right.
It was fun.
That's
I'm not a
awesome.
model, I think.
Whatever, she's a model, guys. No, what's cool is that, the NCAA just, now allows athletes to be paid for their name and their brand. That wasn't a thing, you know, even a
Again,
year
part of the
ago. So
convoluted eligibility rules.
I
All of
know,
that
some crazy
is
time.
crazy.
So I don't know. I think it's great that you're starting now. I think you need to keep running with that and building your brand. And so that one day when you are the Helene Farris on the Washington Spirit, you need to, make that money, girl. Make that money while you're in college. Build
Right.
that brand. I don't know. That's my observation.
No,
What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's awesome the different, opportunities that you can come by now and you can actually seize them and put yourself out there and have fun with it. So that's a really cool
Right.
opportunity.
Right.
Now, my question for you is kind of, I've heard some rumors that you have a few superstitions. So can you tell us about those and can you confirm your beliefs on washing uniforms after you win a game?
Yes, I 100% I stand by it. I don't know what it is. I've just always felt that way. Maybe it's a little bit of laziness. Don't tell anyone that. But I completely stand by it. When I was in high school, I played at Lee for a while before I went to Smithson Valley, and they would let us take our jerseys home, wash them ourselves, all that. Like when we would win, I never washed my jerseys, and we did so well. Like we would always win district. Like we did really well. Even washing my socks. Washing my socks is a big thing. When I went to Smithson Valley,
I do that. The socks thing.
right. So when I went to
It's
Smithson
gross.
Valley, they would take our uniforms, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't like not wash my uniform. Like, what am I gonna do? So I just wouldn't wash my socks, and I get the same effect. So I definitely stand by it. And even with the Athenians, I did the same thing. I would never wash my socks ever.
Yeah,
just
you
the
need that
stink of
victory sweat.
victories.
Yeah.
And like after a while, the sock starts molding to your feet. Like it knows
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
where to go. Like it's great.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Do you like leave them out to kind of air dry, or you like no, like right next to
Leave
my
that in the back.
Girl, I leave them straight in the bag. I take them off after the game, put my shoes on. Like a lot of people think it's really weird, but it's just really something I stand by. Seriously.
Yeah, you can walk by people and be like, "This is what winning smells like."
Yes.
Go.
It's in your bag with all your empty water bottles that you also never throw away.
Maybe it's a little bit of laziness, but I just socks get lost in the dryer all the time too. So it's better to just
Yeah.
put it in the bag.
Yeah, you know where they're at. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. So
Priorities.
that's so funny. I don't think I've ever had any superstitions on my own. I just roll out. I also like roll around on the ground too much to like warrant not washing my stuff.
Yeah.
But when we talk about soccer and like what you're involved with and also long-term goals and just the wonderful world that you can work with in soccer, is there anything else that you would like to do with the sport? Or like, have you ever thought about like what broadcasting would look like, or even if you would move into like a coaching position?
Right. I mean, I don't know there's a coach here in San Antonio, and his name is Neil Hull, and he runs a little like academy here, and I've coached with him a few times just voluntarily, and I really enjoy it. Honestly, I do love working with kids and stuff. I find it easy to do and fun, and it's my passion, so I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about like broadcasting or any of that. I mean, it would definitely be something to look into, but I mean, soccer, of course, like it's so fun for me and I love doing it. I have some of my best friends in the sport, but I look at soccer as more of like a business thing. I do my other stuff on the side. I have my friends, I hang out with my friends, and then when it comes to soccer, it's just all business. So I'm sure, I mean, I probably should look into some broadcasting or coaching or something, but I just like, I'm super competitive. So even when I'm coaching, I'm like, come on, guys, come on. Like,
Yeah. You're so young too, like you are in the athlete mindset at the moment. You're the athlete. You're not worrying about what's going to happen after your athletic career. And I think a lot of times when you start going into coaching or broadcasting, it's like, okay, things are beginning to wind down a bit. Maybe I should figure out some next steps. Um, so
yeah.
I think, I can totally see why you're like, I have no idea. Like, but what is your major there?
So I was majoring in biology, but after a semester of that, I was just like, oh my gosh, no. Like, I cannot
Biology.
do this.
I couldn't even make it through a biology class. I was like, "What is
Yeah,
this
it was a
science?"
struggle.
I can't remember it all. Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, it's
struggle for
brutal.
sure. But now I plan to major in business management.
Very
So,
cool.
Okay. That's a good general move. You can do a lot with that. You
Yeah.
can kind of
You got a
branch
good head
out
on
and
your shoulders for that. I think
yeah,
you would know exactly what to do with that kind of degree.
right.
right. Maybe throw in a communications minor if you ever want to go that route. Throw in a PR minor if you want to go that route, and you're set. Yeah, you're good to go. So you've done a lot of things, already in your young age. And so there's a lot of little girls following along, whether they're in the Athenians Next program or just watching and following along with you. So, and a lot of them want to be in your shoes one day. So, what advice do you have for those little girls who one day want to be in your shoes?
Well, I would say a few points.
Okay.
First, if you're young and looking to play college soccer, yes, clubs are going to help you out and stuff, but ultimately you have to put in the work. You can't be relying on someone else to do it for you. You have to reach out to those coaches. You have to put in the work. If put in the work, get what you get out of it.
Right.
And I think even once you get to that college level or once you're playing at a higher level, even club soccer, if you're not getting that playing time you want or, you're not getting what you need, work harder. I mean, people will definitely recognize that and respect you for it. And I think, people grow at different times. Even if you're not where you want to be right now, in a few years, maybe you will be. So I think
Right.
just keeping working hard and yeah, I would just say working hard, honestly.
Yeah. That's a really humble attitude to take with it. It's understanding like you might have all this talent and all of these gifts, but if you're not working hard for it, it's not going to mean much at the next level and then at the level after that. Like if you don't cultivate that hardworking attitude, then that's you're not going to get very far. So, yeah.
Right.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, even sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
even like redshirting for me like was super humbling because like I said, I've played all my life. I've always been a starter and then coming into this high level, you realize there's girls that are better than me here, whether they're older, faster, smarter, all of the above. There's players who have been here and who know how to play and who know how to play the style of play, the quick style of play. So I think it's just adjusting and kind of like finding your time. Maybe it's not now, but maybe it's in a year, maybe it's next semester.
Right.
So I think it's just not getting discouraged and not giving up and just pushing through.
Definitely.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
those are all characteristics that coaches value. Like they'll value those on a level that is comparable to somebody's technical skills. Like that is such a key part of the game. And if you've got somebody who, you've seen them redshirt for a year, yeah, they're the first one at practice. They stay after to get more work in. Like those are the kind of players that you want on your team. Like you really just can't beat having that drive, determination to work hard.
Right, 100%.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
now we're going to move into our quick fire questions. So I hope you're ready for these.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. They shouldn't be too hard. I don't know. There are some right answers, but that's okay.
Okay.
So what is your favorite pre-game pump-up song?
There's not a certain song I listen to. I kind of like this.
Wrong answer.
I like "A Change Is Gonna Come" by, I want to say, Sam Cooke. It's very like instrumental, like very quiet, but it reminds me that, like, you know, you got this. Like, a change is gonna come. I don't know. You have to listen to it, and like maybe it gets you, maybe it doesn't. But I like that song.
Yeah, I love that. You know, it's cool to, like, some people like to get hyped and pumped. Others want to be like more chill and mellow and, you know, more cerebral. And so I think that's really cool. And so just on music in general, next question. Who's your favorite song or artist in general?
Oh, I would say probably Nicki Minaj.
Oh,
honestly.
all right.
Yeah, she is good.
The distinction there.
Yeah.
She's just a badass. Like, she just
agreed.
I really like her, honestly. I love her music too.
She really set the tone, and then you had people like Cardi B coming in after and like doing a lot of similar stuff, but she was like the original, like,
Nicki Minaj
female
is always
gangster.
the OG. Like,
Yeah.
love Cardi B too, but she'll never be Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next one. Who is your favorite teammate?
Oh. Okay, on the Athenians, I would have to say probably Olivia Wright.
I knew it. You guys are like besties.
We are besties. I
Yeah.
love this girl. I mean, even, you know, it's crazy. My first tattoo was tattooed by her sister. Like, that's how.
What?
Yes.
Wow. That's
guess
cool.
that
What is
would
the
make somebody your
tattoo? Now I'm
favorite teammate.
curious.
I have one kind of like under my boob, and I got it the day my grandpa died, and it's just his birthday, and then it's like a little note from him in his handwriting. So I got that tattooed on me, and then I have courage in Japanese on my ankle. So those were both done by her.
Oh, very cute. Oh.
Yeah, that's very lovely. Would I imagine this is someone who also gets you to laugh the most? Or who else makes you laugh the most?
Honestly, that's hard because everyone. I'm super easy to laugh. Like, I love having a good time. So there's no one specific, but I wouldn't say Olivia for that one because she's kind of stoic. I'm pretty much the one making her laugh. But I don't know. I mean, maybe Mia Wildeman. She's just kind of her own thing. Like, I don't care about anyone. So I would say her probably.
Yeah. Okay. You know, for me, it's kind of like, I feel like Izzy and Brooke are the ones who usually like make me lose it on some accord, but they're also usually making fun of me or something. So that's a tough one. Okay. Next question. Breakfast tacos or breakfast sandwiches?
That's hard. I would say breakfast tacos, honestly.
Yeah.
Solid. Good answer.
Do you guys eat breakfast tacos where you are, Harlie and Megan?
Oh,
is that like a thing for you?
Period.
Okay. I asked somebody this question once, and they were like, "What are you talking about? Breakfast tacos? Like tacos are for lunch or dinner?" Yeah.
I don't know what breakfast taco is, but you do you. It sounds kind of fun.
Oh, okay. See,
Oh my goodness.
you're missing out, my friend. Put some eggs and potatoes and sausage in a tortilla, and thank me later.
Some peppers, some onions, some hot sauce. Ooh, girl.
Yeah.
There's a girl from Florida, and like, she's like, I had no idea what a breakfast taco was before I came here, and I'm like, oh my god, like,
how could you?
Okay, next question: Nike or Adidas, or in my American accent, Nike or Adidas?
That's very good, Megan.
Okay, I think I know. Probably Adidas.
Gotcha. Okay, next question. Going into shoes. Some sweet kicks or heels?
Ooh, See, I'm definitely a heel girl, but I also love some nice kicks. I would say nice kicks for
Tough
sure.
one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you can even dress up like nice kicks now. You know, I've seen like I wear them too in like with my dresses fitted or not. Like they actually kind of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so
Okay.
cool.
Oh, I know, right? As you get older, you do start to prioritize comfort. And I never thought I'd be that person to say that. Never thought it would once come out of my mouth. But here I am in my 30s, you know, freaking wearing tennis shoes to the club. You
I
know,
think I've
that
been
girl
a
now.
comfy person since I was born. I was meant for sweatpants.
All right, next question. What item can you not live without?
I would say this is hard. I would say either my phone or I get my lashes done, and that's like a big thing for me. Like
I respect that.
Yeah.
lashes.
Instant glamour in the morning is hard to give up.
Yes. Like
Yes.
it's just so easy. Never putting on mascara, like never having to put on makeup. Like I just have my lashes done, I'm good to go. Like
Where do you get them done? I'm curious.
I get them done at a nail salon. Actually, I just found this new lady, and she does a great job. So
Yeah, it's hard to find good lash ladies in San Antonio. That's why I ask. I've never had them done, but some of these girls are walking around looking like Baby Bop, and I'm like, I can't. But there's some girls that I'm like, dang, your lashes look fantastic. They just look full and natural and good, you know. So, anyways,
this girl does an amazing job. Because I don't want to look like I got caterpillars on my eyes or something.
Yeah,
but she does a good job.
So true. Yes.
All right, taking it back to the quick fire, but if you need any lash recommendations, speak to Helene.
Yes.
TikTok or Instagram?
I would say Instagram. I use it more. I post on there. I never post on TikTok. I do love going on TikTok and just watching videos, watching funny stuff, but I mean, I use Instagram more probably.
Yeah, more of a consumer. Same for me.
All right. And now we are at our final rapid question, which is perhaps the most important question you've ever answered in your whole life. Mm-hmm. Tea or coffee?
I gotta go with tea.
Hey! Well, that's a great answer because guess what show you're on? Our Cup of Tea. Perfect answer, the right answer every time.
I love a good tea.
Yeah, I'm an English breakfast kind of girl, or also like a loose leaf floral tea. It's a good time. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've absolutely loved having you on, hearing all about you, like your soccer journey, but also, where you get your lashes done and so awesome speaking with you. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes,
and if anybody does want to follow on Helene's journey, head over to Instagram. You can see those modeling pictures maybe. And follow along and box with the Athenians this summer, and then back to college season in the fall, which you'll be a part of, right? So
yes,
it's going to be super exciting. Thank you everybody for watching today. We really hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube, and we'll see you next week for more Our Cup of Tea.
Bye.